Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at this product here from Numark. It is the Numark DJ2Go that I've just bought. This is going to be really useful just to take to gigs as a backup when I'm not taking my big Mixtrack Pro. So let's have a look. It includes Virtual DJ LE Lite software. So in the box all we get is the warranty and instructions, the actual unit itself, a USB cable and the software installation disc. This is a cross-platform piece of software. I'm now installing it on my Mac Mini. It also works on Windows computers. So now I've installed our software, we need to plug it in. So on the side of the controller here, we have our USB port, and just plug in the supplied USB cable, and the other end into the computer. If you ever have problems with controllers like this, or MIDI controllers in general, and it's not connecting to the computer for some reason, make sure that your USB cable isn't plugged into a USB hub, because some of these controllers need to be powered by USB. So if you go to a low powered USB hub, it won't work and it won't connect properly. So I always suggest plugging directly into a computer with your MIDI controller. So let me just explain to you a bit about the Numark DJ2Go before we have a closer look at it. So it doesn't have any sound cards built in, so what I'm currently doing is I'm using the headphone output on my Mac Mini as my master, and then I've got a small USB sound card that I'm using for my headphones for queuing. Let's have a look at how I've set that up. So we've got an overview of our software. You'll notice it looks pretty much exactly the same as the Numark DJ2Go. The controllers all laid out here, and when I press any of the buttons, you can see there they all light up. And the crossfader moves and the pitch bends move. You've got your library down here. I'm going to explain Virtual DJ in more detail probably in another video because there's quite a lot of depth you can go into. You've got a CPU bar up here. I know it's in the red because I'm doing a screencast at the same time as this. So we're going to go into our settings, and under the sound tab, here we sort out all our sound cards. So outputs, we're going to want to select headphones. So then you've got the option, so then it's master is the first card, headphones is the second card. Sound cards, you need to select, you want 2 sound cards. So I've got the built-in output, and I've also got a USB sound device there as well, which I'm using. So click apply, then you're all set up. So your queuing is now done through that USB sound card, and the master output is through my headphone jack on my Mac Mini. Looking at the controller itself, we've got these lovely backlit keys to make it really easy to use and see in the dark. Starting on the left, we have our pitch fader, which is quite nice to use. It's got a really nice lock-in in the middle, so it's really easy to reset to 0. We've got our pitch bend, plus or minus to nudge the pitch. Sync button, and then our headphone select, which deck we want. Then got a cue button, play button. Then got our jog wheel, which allows us to do scratching. A bit small, but for this kind of controller, that's acceptable. So we've got our volume A here for our left deck, minimum to maximum. Then moving on to the centre of the console here, we have our master volume. We then have our crossfader. We then have our track loading area, so we've got our browse dial to search through our tracks in Virtual DJ, load it onto deck A or load it onto deck B. Then got back to go into folders and enter to go into those folders. Got our headphone cue control here, and then it's exactly the same on the other side with the other deck. Right, I think we're ready for a mix then. So I'm using 2 copyright-free songs in this mix, so let's get started. CPU is kind of struggling with this screencast at the same time, which is a bit annoying. Disadvantages of the controller, I'm going to say, are you haven't got control over loops, effects, or what was I going to say? You haven't got control of loops, effects. It'll come back to me in a second. I remember what it was now. You haven't got control of loops, effects, or the EQ. which is a tad annoying, but of course you've got to remember the size of this thing. I mean, if I wanted to do EQ control, I'd use this. You can barely see it. That's the Numark Mixtrack Pro, which is quite a lot bigger than the Numark DJ2Go. I mean, just look. As you can see, it's considerably smaller than the Mixtrack Pro. If I put a CD case on, you can gauge kind of how big it actually is. So you're going to have to compromise the size for the lack of features. This has got all the features with your hot cues, your effects, your loops. You've got nice big jog wheels, but of course it's a much bigger size. So I think this is a really nice little MIDI controller. I wouldn't recommend using it if you're trying to get into DJing, if you're trying to mix a lot. I'd say it's very good for a mobile DJ, just to be able to crossfade between tracks, maybe do a bit of mixing with it, but it's also a fantastic backup MIDI controller. So if my Mixtrack Pro suddenly stops working, I've always got this on the road with me. And also, if my main CD player dies, I've got this with me. So I'm really happy with this purchase, very nice. So there we go then. Please comment, rate and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.